Okay, so this is a polarity flopping circuit. I've got my power supply, my wall power going into the power supply here. So that's a 27 volt power supply. It puts out 27 volts DC and it feeds it into this other power supply, which is just a DC to DC converter, so it requires a DC input of upwards or of up to 30 volts. Right now I've got an output of 18 volts. You can see that. You can also see the input value down below, 23.6 volts. So basically this stabilizes the voltage and also allows for amperage and voltage limiting. Plus they're only $30 from China, so I feel like the quality of those are quite good for the price. Everything has heat sinks and stuff like that. I'm obviously gonna put a fan in my box once I put this stuff inside an enclosure, just because it all puts off quite a bit of heat and it needs to be cooled. So anyways, that power supply is feeding into this relay, which is my clock. It's got manual adjustments there. On the front, I think you can do on-off duty cycles of up to like 1,000 seconds each. So it's at like 15 minutes per side on-off, something like that. Anyways, they want the client that I'm doing this for wants the duty cycle to be downwards in the seconds, so this is why I chose this particular clock. It's reliable. It can perform this duty cycle for a long time. I've used these in the past and I haven't seen one fail. I'm not running high amperages through it. What I'm doing is using that clock to put a signal to these MOSFETs, which flip my polarity. I've got a multimeter hooked up to the output of those MOSFETs. So you can see right now it's -16. When the clock changes the relay, it'll go to +16. And that's the polarity flipping circuit, flopping duty cycle that I was trying to build. So now I'm going to start putting my load on the output and make sure that this circuit can handle 5 amps. I'm also going to have to put some heat sinks on my electronics, and like I say, get a fan blowing on them. I've got an enclosure that I'm going to put this in, but I want to test the load that it's flipping the polarity on first. So this is the end of the video. Hopefully it shows you how to go from a rough idea or drawing, which I did down here. I labeled my schematic, figured everything out that I wanted to do in my head, made it a reality by putting it onto this circuit board here, test board, and then from here I'll start soldering and putting this into my final enclosure. First, you want to test everything though thoroughly before you start